Most people will be at least vaguely familiar now with the incident at St Pancras Station in London, where a YouTuber playing a public piano was approached by a Chinese media team and told he couldn't record them, which, considering that he wasn't, and if he had been, he could, this was a strange request. Now, we all love a good Cowboys and Indians, and we all tend to look for monsters under the bed. The commies are coming for us. This was an entirely more prosaic incident than as the way it's played out in public. It was really, at the end of the day, a culture clash and a failure to communicate, which has yielded a couple of interesting questions. And I've uploaded the full live stream to my Rumble in case it gets deleted from YouTube, and you can have a look at it there if you want to. It's 37 minutes in total. The original YouTube version has now, last I checked, almost 7 million views, so any effort to keep it under wraps has not been entirely successful. Here's a short 45-second clip which introduces all the players.
Did you film us, all of us, in your cameras? Are you gonna use
I don't know. Are we allowed?
No.
We're not allowed.
Yeah. So
we're not allowed.
You're not allowed because we're for Chinese TV.
Oh, okay.
This is non-disclosable.
It's not disco.
Yeah, not disclosable.
It's no disco.
It's not disclosable.
It's not disclosable.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you film the part that
So will we get in trouble with the Chinese government?
Maybe not. I don't know. But you said you found Japanese.
No, they'll put you in prison, mate.
So just say that according to the Chinese law, we're not allowed to film you. Is that right?
So basically, we will much appreciate it when you are, whatever you're doing, that you don't put our face on TV.
Yes.
So we have three people, Lady 1, Lady 2 and this fella. And Twitter user Byron Wan identified the people. Lady 1, who approaches the piano player, one Brendan Kavanagh, is Liu Mengying, which she seems to have anglicised to Megan, going by how she's done her LinkedIn name. That's a bit more of her online profile that Byron Wan put out. And that is a much nicer photo. Very nice and polite and giggly, but just not versed in English cultural norms, which say you can't give orders to people. He says, are we allowed? And she says, no, you're not allowed. The moment she says you're not allowed is the moment she loses him completely. Following on from Miss Mengying, we have Lady 2, who apparently is Adelina Zhang. She's some kind of a function coordinator, and her image there does her no favours whatsoever. She mixes at the top, and like Liu, she has been a lot more photogenic. Here she is at Westminster, sharing an intimate moment with the Chancellor of the Exchequer, a certain Jeremy Hunt. Just to clarify, she is not Jeremy Hunt's wife, as has been suggested. Jeremy Hunt's wife, I believe, is also Chinese, which caused the confusion. And we assume that this is an event which she is involved with hosting, and she came across Jeremy Hunt and she opportunistically asked for a selfie with him, and he complied. And I would have done the same if I'd been in his shoes. It's easy to read too much into these things, and I may have myself inadvertently stoked a bit of a conspiracy by posting the photo on Twitter, and it's getting a bit of a head of steam. But she works for a Chinese media company, and she's mixed with the highest offices of state. Again, we love a good conspiracy, a good Cowboys and Indians. There's almost certainly an innocent explanation to this, and I'm very happy to hear what it is. Our friend here is one Newton Lang, who is an education consultant and works for the Financial Times and the University of London. From the video, he comes across more as their minder, and that impression is very much corroborated by the following exchange. Kavanagh goes to touch the Chinese flag, which little Liu is carrying. This bloke suffers an explosion of rage, and this follows.
Don't touch her, please. Do not touch her. Please, you are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her. Don't touch her.
Did you hear that?
Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her.
That seems to be the voice of the comely wench Adelina saying, don't shoot him.
Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her. Don't touch her.
He's not a minder, he's not a bodyguard, he's an education consultant. Why is he carrying a weapon? And even if he had been an official minder, since when did bodyguards get to carry weapons? Since when did they get to walk around the public streets carrying guns? I was entirely unaware of that. A rebuttal video was made by Liu Mengying and it has been posted on YouTube. What she says in that video basically corroborates everything I originally thought, and it's totally reasonable. There is nothing mendacious going on the station there. They're making a video, something to do with the Chinese New Year, apparently for some kind of a private client. They can't get a look in because Kavanagh is hogging the piano, and they want to go to the piano and do something, and then as the whole thing's going on, because of the logistics of the thing, they start to get edgy about being filmed. So Liu there, she approaches Kavanagh and clumsily tries to get him to not upload or delete the material. She doesn't go about it in the right way to elicit the kind of response that she wanted. Kavanagh, for his part, behaves like a total chav. He mocks them. She says, oh, he's non-disclosable, and he says, oh, what, non-disco? No, you don't want disco? I mean, he knows exactly what she said, and he's clearly mocking them. He's behaving like a jackass. She's all nice and decorous, and I certainly know whose company I'd rather be in, and I don't say that just for the obvious reasons. So a combination of English chav and Chinese cack-handed people skills, and the whole thing snowballs out of control. In terms of what she says in her rebuttal video, I disagree with a couple of things. You can film in public, and that doesn't change irrespective of however much your private employee might not want any of the footage which belongs to him to be public. And the original cop who shows up confirms this.
They were filming, and I would say we're nicely approaching them, so we need to use our image. Is that right?
You're in a public place.
I know, but we were walking around with saying,
If they're filming, you're in a public place.
Just for clarity, you're in a public place. If they're filming, they have the right to do it in a public place. She also complains about him disrespecting the China flag. You can respect your own national flag as much as you want. You can't require others to do that. You can't require people to respect the China flag in the UK. You may be able to require them to do that in China, but not in the UK. Clearly, his disrespect of the China flag explains, to a degree, the way the whole thing snowballed out of control, but you can't use that to excuse bad behaviour. Apart from that, her rebuttal is a good explanation of what happened, and it is largely totally reasonable as an explanation of the situation as it played out on the station concourse. This is not evidence of a communist takeover. Whether or not there is ultimately a communist takeover, this is not evidence of it. Two questions, however. Why is Ms. Zhang cavorting with the holder of the second highest office of state? She's an event coordinator, she works for a Chinese media company. Okay, what are the exact mechanics of this? I would like to know. And I think more importantly, why is friend Newton carrying a weapon? I can't. Why can he? I commented thus under that rebuttal video that she posted, and I got this bizarre response, which is worth addressing. I kicked off saying, your defence is largely completely reasonable, so I'm not exactly posing as the enemy here. I asked the question and I got this back. Are you serious? For you, don't shoot him means don't hurt him with a weapon instead of do not video him with the camera? Okay, so your friend is screaming blue murder at somebody. You say, don't shoot him, and this means don't take his picture. I don't think so. No, absolutely not. In any circumstance would don't shoot him mean don't film him, and particularly not in the context here. It can only mean don't shoot with a gun. Yes, don't shoot him definitely does not mean don't take his picture. But we do appear to agree that she did say don't shoot him. So, Ms. Zhang, explain, if you would, the circumstances of your access to the Chancellor. However, I'm sure totally innocuous, coordinating an event, along comes the Chancellor and you get an opportunistic selfie with him. Explain the actual mechanics of how all that works. And more particularly, I think, why were you pleading with friend Newton, the education consultant, to not take out the loaded weapon he was carrying and shoot his adversary dead in public? I think we'd all like to know that. This is not evidence of some Chinese Communist Party takeover. These are not communist operatives. These are just people making a video, and the whole thing exploded out of control, but I think answers to those questions would be quite welcome. I posted an 11-second clip, very brief, of that exchange where she says don't shoot him on Twitter, and it has not got an excessive head of steam like that other love-in photo with Jeremy Hunt. So if you would like to share it, I would be curious to know why random Chinese blokes are walking around illegally armed, and if they are in fact legally armed, why are they legally armed? Where did they manage to get their gun-carrying permit from? That link and probably a few others are in the description box of this video.
Don't touch her, please. Do not touch her. Please, you are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Don't touch her. Please don't touch her. Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her. Don't touch her.